Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. So, yeah, it'd be a good time. 6 o'clock on the weekends. And I'm only going to do an hour tonight, you guys. There's a lot of games on later. Michigan got lucky today. So they went out. They might be in the playoff thing. Tim, Starfire. So, Starfire, you can get any updates on anything new? On anything, what the next marker or date, what people are saying? I don't know. Middle of November already. Don't understand how quiet it is. Glasses are dirty. Oh. What's Trump saying tonight? He's speaking right now. I don't know what. You hear me okay? I was washing my glasses. Kay should be in here shortly. So I guess there was a stupid shooting on over at Turkey. Did you guys see that? I'll play that real quick before we start the intel. I want to go ahead and get the break. We'll get the breaking news. We'll go ahead and get all that set up. Okay, this was. I guess there was a couple incidents. Okay, let's see here. This was 18 hours ago.
We got a situation here in Washington, D.C. Looks like we have some sort of shooting that happened. Massive crime scene set up. So we're going to see what's up, what's going on. If you didn't get redirected, I apologize for that. We were watching the last press conference, and we're all supposed to come over together here. And we're here back again. Another shooting, Washington, D.C. It's interesting in Washington, D.C. And here we are.
I'm going to fast forward.
So, folks, we got a crime scene at third. But, I mean, it's a police officer shooting. You got time. 6 a.m. Willie's had booze on the ground. Yeah, Willie. Oh, Willie was at that press conference, man. Willie was trying to go at it with the sheriff. I guess why didn't Willie just take it up with the sheriff on the side? But it seems like the sheriff's trying to shut Willie down. Willie's ain't opening back up. Nope. Willie's bar is done.
So that's that. That one. Ooh. This is live in Chicago, right?
On it, a single tortilla or a small Subway sandwich. They give them bottles of water, sometimes 8 ounces, sometimes 16, and they have to decide if they want to use that water to drink or to wash their bodies. They get no toothpaste, they get no toothbrushes, no soap, any kind of sanitizer, no medications. They beat the shit out of these people in the street, and then they bring them in there and they throw them in a room with no medical attention. They break their ribs, they hit their faces, nothing. It's egregious. And anybody who is in that building and has seen what they do is complicit and has no humanity and no conscience left. Because I don't give a shit what you tell yourself at night.
Live.
If you can see how those people are being treated less than human, you're not human. And I'll tell you something else. We treat convicted murderers and pedophiles better than those people in there who have not been charged with any crime at all. They don't charge them with anything. And then it's up to them to get out of the system, to pay the money, to go to the courts. Everything they say is law, and then you got to get out. It's unconscionable. And the reason that they do it is so they can get their deportation numbers, so that Trump can put them up and say that he did something better than Obama.
Yeah, and that passion that you're feeling there, that is what the protesters have again and again told us, that the message that they want to be delivering.
So that's one is out of Chicago Live. I'll check on a couple more, and then we'll get to the end, Joe. See what else we got going. Oh, we got another one.
Private cops are guilty too.
Sick cops are guilty too.
Private cops are guilty too.
I'm not sure where this is at, you guys.
Private cops are guilty too.
Killer cops are guilty too.
Private cops are
Live.
guilty too.
Traffic that
This
comes
is
through here
JB
has to wait
Person's
until they clear
police.
it. So why can't we go in the
This
street?
is his
Why do we
police.
get arrested for going in the street?
Let everyone see. Please have your camera on what this hypocrite is saying about these fake police.
You're not impeding traffic or have safety concerns.
Alderman Lopez was correct in confronting Pritchard and what the truth was the truth. And I call to thank the alderman for telling the truth.
William,
get
the fuck out of here,
Go home!
No,
No, no, no, no. No, 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 no. Hey, goodbye. No, 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 no. No, no.
Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get going here. Just going to do an hour tonight. So the first one, if you guys didn't hear about Margie Taylor, oh, I got logged into Telegram. Okay, got in.
As she's sparring back and forth President Trump on social media. We've been watching this here behind the scenes on Live Now from Fox, and we want to bring you some of those posts to continue to add context to this conversation. Putting this one up, this is the latest post that's gone out from the representative's page, really in just the last 2 hours or so. She says, quote, "I am now being contacted by private security firms with warnings for my safety as a hotbed of threats were made against me and are being fueled and egged on by the most powerful man in the world."
We got here.
The man I supported and helped to get elected, aggressive rhetoric attacking me has historically led to death threats and multiple convictions of men who were radicalized by the same type of rhetoric being directed at me right now. This time by the President of the United States. As a woman, I take threats from men seriously. Now I have a small understanding of the fear and pressure the women who are victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his cabal must feel as a Republican who overwhelmingly votes for President Trump's bills and agendas. His aggression against me, which also fuels the venomous nature of his radical internet trolls, so many of whom are paid. This is nothing shocking to everyone. My phone is blowing up with constant, amazing support. I'm so thankful to the political industrial complex. He does go on to talk about the toxic nature of some of this happening behind the scenes. It's a very, very long tweet as well, but she ends it off by saying that the political industrial complex and the toxic, violent nature of American politics must end. Our country is worth saving, and it can only be done if we pull together and save ourselves. That's, again, this is the latest tweet that we have from Marjorie Taylor Greene on calling for these hotbed of threats that have been made against her. But again, this is all stemmed from a back and forth conversation happening on social media. I want to put up the post that we also saw from President Trump this morning on his Truth Social site. He said this: lightweight Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, green grass turns brown when it begins to rot, betrayed the entire Republican Party when she turned left, performed poorly on the pathetic View, and became the rhino that we all know she always was. Just a different fake politician, no different than Rand Paul Jr., which he has in parentheses Thomas Massey, and got caught being a full-fledged Republican in name only. Then again, referring to the term rhino, and said it make America great again. All of this exploding today on social media. And so to talk a lot more about what we see here, I want to bring into the conversation political analyst Brian Sobel. Brian, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. Really a lot to get into. I wanted to read those posts out in full from social media so that way everyone at home can continue to see the context around this conversation. But really, let's focus on what we're hearing from Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and President Trump going back and forth. Where is this all stemming from?
Because in many ways, Christina, they're very much alike. They don't like slights. They don't take very well to people criticizing them. And from that perspective, if you just look at the length of the tweets, you could see that this is where they often air their grievances. Marjorie Taylor Greene, or now Marjorie Taylor Brown, according to the president, is the same woman who showed a lack of decorum on the floor of the House of Representatives during a State of the Union by former President Joe Biden, yelling out liar and things like that. She is a controversial figure, and it shouldn't surprise anybody, I think, that she eventually would end up in some problem with the President of the United States, and it happens here around these Epstein files.
And so, again, what we're seeing here, I'm glad you pointed out some of the history of what she's done over the years. But for so long, she even pointed it out in her post. She normally votes in support of the president's policies. And he says that this all stems from the fact that he won't answer her phone calls.
Yes.
Is this not an odd thing for two people who are within this party to be arguing over publicly? This isn't something that we normally see.
Well, all the rules have kind of gone out the window over the last few years. And so these grievances are aired more publicly today. And of course, that's a byproduct of social media. When somebody posts, somebody has to answer in another post. The idea of needing lots of FaceTime and hand-holding is as old as politics. It's just a classic. It's very hard for sitting members of any office to spend an inordinate amount of time.
So now let's give me a short update, because I got to move on to other videos. Seven minutes.
Frightening time in our country, and I wish the rhetoric would just calm down.
The suspect in the attack on the office belonging to the acting U.S. Attorney in New Jersey, Alina Habba, has been taken into custody. Attorney General Pam Bondi announcing that arrest earlier this morning, identifying the bat-wielding suspect as Keith Michael Lisa. For more, we are joined by former Assistant U.S. Attorney General John Yoo and Washington Times editor-at-large and attorney Alex Warrior. Great to have you both. Professor Yoo, I hear stories like this. It's frightening. It's disturbing. Your reaction to the fact that there has been an arrest made, at least that seems to be some promising news.
I think it's great that the FBI tracked this guy down, and the Justice Department should throw the book at him, because there needs to be a message sent that is unacceptable to attack federal agents, federal law enforcement, courts, and prosecutors. But the bigger problem is that this, unfortunately, is a trend, I think, caused by the far left's extreme rhetoric. We have been living in a period of heightened political violence. It might have started back with the attempt to assassinate Justice Kavanaugh after Dobbs. You saw the assassination attempts on President Trump during the election, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and now you have attacks on high-profile federal prosecutors. So a message needs to be sent by the Justice Department that you cannot attack the federal. Can have debates over policy, win or lose, but it's not acceptable to attack our own government.
I couldn't have said it better. And Alex, as I welcome you into the conversation, it's infuriating because these are people who are public servants and trying to do what they can to make life better for all of us. And you can agree or disagree on the policy, but something's got to give. And the rhetoric, as Professor Yu just said, really has to be more careful. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think John is extremely spot on here. The DOJ has a responsibility to go after this and throw the book. Hopefully, we're looking at looking for the maximum amount of fine and jail time that this individual could face for both charges that he's looking at here: destruction of federal property, and of course, his plan to assault, bring a bat inside towards Alina Abba. Quite dangerous, and I think that. The important point, too, is that this is seeming to come from one side. John just went through how we've looked at a lot of Republicans that have been targeted. I am waiting to see what Democrat lawmaker is going to step up and use their voice to try to tamp this down. It seems like each time we see an assassination attempt or some sort of attack that's thankfully spoiled, we don't have a Democrat stepping up and saying enough is enough. And that needs to happen. And to that final point, there was a poll out earlier this month from Politico, and I was shocked at some of the numbers. It said 55% of Americans believe that we're going to continue to see this political violence increase and expect that a political candidate will be assassinated in the future. That is terrible. You would think after what happened with Charlie Kirk that our country would be winding down from that, but it looks like people expect it to get even worse. And 24% said that sometimes it's justified, which is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I'm really, really disturbed by this. And I agree with you both. I really hope they throw the book at this guy who did something so bizarre, frankly. I want to get your opinion, both of you, to weigh in on what's happening with Eric Swalwell. Apparently, there's a mortgage fraud circumstance, and this seems to be percolating a lot on the left. Maybe it's because of who's in office. Obviously, there may be some targeting, and eventually it could happen to lawmakers on the right. But we've seen this play out with Tish James, and now Eric Swalwell, who apparently, Professor Yu, who represents California, has his primary residence outside of California. He says this is dirty pool by Bill Pulte. I want to get your reaction after this bit of sound from Bill Pulte.
About 3 minutes, you guys.
When we're in the majority, we will have subpoena power and accountability will happen. So Bill Pulte and any other lawless official who is carrying out these political prosecutions on behalf of Donald Trump, they should familiarize themselves with the Judiciary Committee room, because they're going to be spending a lot of time there answering questions. And I sure hope everything they did was above board.
So that was Swalwell talking about Bill Pulte. I think the argument easily could be made that if people are looking into you, which happens all the time, to say nothing of his past with an alleged Chinese spy, these things can happen, Professor Yu.
I didn't know that the representative had amnesia, because is he forgetting 2024?
Exactly.
2023? Democratic prosecutors and attorney generals brought charges against Donald Trump. For the first time in American history, a former president was prosecuted for exactly the same thing, for allegedly misrepresenting facts on mortgage applications, on loans. And now this representative, who was one of the leaders of the charge in that, is complaining because he's being held to the exact same standard. What I did hear him say was a simple answer to a simple question. Did you lie on a federal mortgage application or not? Let's hear the answer to that first before we start casting aspersions on the motives of the prosecutors. Second, this is a bigger part of the lawfare campaign. Unfortunately, I wish we didn't have a country where lawfare was going on, but it started against Donald Trump in an extreme measure to try to drive him off the ballot. Unfortunately, I think the only way to get it to stop, because judges are not going to intervene and stop this, the only way to get it to stop is tit for tat retaliation. And that's exactly what the Justice Department under a Republican president is doing to the prosecutors under the Democratic administration. I hope this will be enough and nobody will do it in the future.
Wrap us up, Alex. 15 seconds.
Well, I just love that Eric Swalwell repeatedly said no one is above the law. And here we have his own words coming back to bite him. One of the other interviews he recently gave, he talked about that he was surprised it took the Trump DOJ so long to come after him. I'm left wondering what else he's hiding. Does he think that maybe there could be more indictments coming on other crimes? But to your point, I think that he's, one of 4 that's now facing mortgage fraud allegations from Trump critics. I think that this one is a little different. There's also tax fraud issues, insurance. I will note, I did a little research because I think he plans to run for governor in California. It says that you have to be a resident of California, but it doesn't necessarily talk about where your primary residence has to be. I don't know if they want to look and maybe change that law.
Because he's not technically.
Okay, Spreewell and stuff. Okay, we got the TikTok lady for Kay. Seven minutes.
You want to know what the left is hoping for and is really shooting for? They're looking for breaks in our armor, and they're finding it. I've seen people on here turn on the older millennial and other people along that ride. You know what we used to have? We used to have one united force. And you know what that united force did? It won us the biggest beatdown last November that the Democrat Party has ever seen. And they have been scrambling ever since. And I heard Tim from Timcast talking about this the other day, the biggest thing that happened was Charlie Kirk was murdered. And since then, our party is like crumbling into conspiracy theory world. Half of you are on Candace, half of you are on Tucker, half of you are on Charlie Kirk. And now all the infighting starts. And you want to know what happens? The left comes and picks those chinks of that armor apart, and we get stronger and they get stronger and they get stronger. And our side, America First, the mighty fist that put Trump back in the White House and said, enough with the lying media, enough with the lying social media influencers, and put our policies back in that White House to close the border, good stock market, handle inflation, handle the economy, stop the indoctrination of our kids in schools, all of these things being defunded, all of the spending money in Washington to bullshit that keeps tricking away at our national debt. We put that back into the White House. And you want to know what's happening right now with all of this little fucking conspiracy theory infighting? It's making our side weaker. And that's what the Democrats are hoping for. And you guys are just giving it to them on a fucking silver platter. Okay? Because half of you are fighting about Candace, half of you are fighting about Charlie Kirk being murdered, and there was something psyop involved and all of that. And that's what the left wants. That's what the left wants. We have enough problem on the right getting people to the voting centers to vote. But the left, they put out a sign call, and there are protests across the nation. Us, we can't even get people to the voting booth, right? And you know what's going to happen? We're going to lose the midterms. All of everything that I just told you is going to make us lose the midterms.
Thanks, we'll play it next.
We were a mighty force. We were able to get on this app, people like me who are literally nobodies, right? We were able to get on this app and start to make people use their common sense again and stop to take the veil of the media bullshit off of their eyes and go, wait a minute, she's right. He's right. We were a mighty force. And ever since Charlie Kirk was murdered by the left, this is what I keep seeing. I'm seeing people in comment sections that are fighting with other conservatives. What are we doing? You want to know what we're doing? We're handing the Democrat Party the midterms with all of this infighting. We have to get back together on the same path. Charlie Kirk was murdered by the left, by the Democrat Party. And all of you guys fighting over who said what, and he's for Israel, and he's for this one, and she's for that one. That united force, that united front is being slowly chipped away, and the armor chinks are starting to show. And you know who's getting in there? People on the left. They're hoping for that. They're wanting to break that down. They want you to not believe Trump. They want you to think that Trump is doing something evil. Haven't we played this before? How many more indictments, guys? How many more subpoenas from Trump? How many more Trump's this and Trump's that? Till it takes for you guys to start. I've even seen in comment sections, some of you guys have lost faith in Trump in his administration. And how does that work? Because you start watching shit on social media. You see other people saying kind of crap, and you start to think, oh, am I wrong? Am I right? Am I what? Am I what? I want you to think about Easter Sunday under the Biden administration and what happened on that front lawn of Easter Sunday. Remember that, okay? Kids out there on that front lawn. You need to remember that, because I can see our armor starting to chink down. It's starting to break down, and you guys are allowing it to happen. And the more you allow this kind of garbage to happen, the more that we're going to give them midterms. Yep. I've already seen people in the comment section be like, oh, I voted for Trump and I'm starting to really regret my vote. What? No one ever said Trump was a perfect man. But what, now you're starting to regret your vote? So go ahead and just hand the Democrat Party the midterms, and everything that we've just worked for, that he's killed himself for, is going to be right back to where it was. People getting handouts from the federal government, all the things that you voted for with a one mighty fist is going to be crumbling down through conspiracy theory valley. And I swear the people on the right are the worst when it comes to conspiracy theories. The left can say, we're going to mobilize and we're going to be out here all weekend long, and the streets are filled. And you guys are fighting over stupid shit on social media. Charlie Kirk was one of the most strongest forces in the America First movement with Donald Trump. And because of his death, it has got half of you over here and half of you over there. And when we're like this instead of like this, the Democrat Party is going to take over the midterms and win. And we are right back to where we started. All of the fighting that we just did to get Trump back in the White House is going to go down the toilet because of bullshit like this and conspiracy theories. I unfollowed Candace Owens. I unfollowed her. I'd had enough. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. I don't want to hear it. What I want to do is make sure that my vote counted, and I know it counted. And I know that all of us got together and we said, we're done with the corruption in Washington, D.C. We're done with lying-ass politicians. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to break Trump down again. And some of you guys are allowing it to happen with the whole Jeffrey Epstein bullshit. What point? You might as well just turn over and hand the Democrat Party back the fucking midterms. Because if we are not united, we are divided, and a divided America is a easily to conquer America. We need to get back to that America first and standing behind Trump, one nation, because if we don't, we are right back to where we started again, and all of this has been for naught. Okay? So I just wanted to say that to you guys because I see it in people's comment sections and it really bothers me. We need to be America first. And everything that we stood behind Donald Trump when we put him back into the White House, and Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard and Robert Kennedy and Charlie fucking Kirk. Never forget, you said. Never forget. And right now, if Charlie Kirk could see what was happening to the conservative party right now, while we're splitting in half, the Democrats are kind of picking away at it, he would be so upset right now. Conservatives, Republicans, you need to get your fucking shit together and get back to being united again, because the Democrats are just waiting for us to fall. Good talk.
So what do you think of this one, Kay? That was a good one, huh? So we got an update that Christina, sorry. Hey, how you pronounce that? Christina, I think. Christina? Oh, Doug came out 2 hours ago. I don't want to talk on this one. Shoot. Okay, hey. Trying to find the one that talks. Well, I guess no one's going to be talking. Darn it. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, I got some music on. So I guess I will just do this one. Blazing. Can't see that word. Okay, I'll try to find that. Hold on, you guys. Now I can't. Oh, okay. That is Blazing Rest. Okay, I'll look that up. Okay, he's coming on at 8 o'clock, you guys. A war in Venezuela. I guess this is the only thing I can get right now. Oh, shoot. Oh, finally. Ah, another commercial. Okay, let's. Okay, I think Kate has got the. Hold on, you guys. I might go an extra half hour. Ah, it's the right one. I got it.
or controlled by the cartels simply. So it's
Yeah,
it's
he's
like a
good.
whole, it's the whole thing. So it's a whole
He,
it's a whole thing. Yeah. That seems to be kind of the gist of it. I remember hearing about a ton of killings right before she was elected wild. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, a lot of smaller local politicians were killed. I'm going to sneeze here.
I think it is.
So there's that. Okay, I got my sneeze out. Bless you. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Thank you.
So it's Christian.
I got it out of my system.
Christian.
Complete and total mayhem down here in Mexico. So, I mean, really, I was going to say Mexico City, but really, as we now know, it's pretty much across the entire country. And so once again, I guess I don't frankly understand the entire context of this, but I'm seeing another one of these flags, which has this character from Fairly Odd Parents. I don't get the joke. I don't get the meme. Claudia, si estás mirando, chinga tu madre. It's that same joke, I guess.
Wonder why they protested.
It's the Gen Z way of protesting? Okay. So there's another one of those.
Okay.
I'll put our feed back up here.
Okay, can you put that channel link in the chat? Thanks. Thanks for finding that.
I'm getting all types of clips up here ready for you guys. Everybody stand by here.
So we're going to get all the short videos in now. What the heck? So we got here. Now I lost them all. I had all the. Where did everything go? Oh, darkness. Okay, this is. See what his latest one is. Darn it. I can't find Q now. Where the heck? Okay, here we go. We are. All right, I'm gonna go play the one that I got.
Life's dreams. This city that our ancestors
Thanks, Jay.
brought forth in prosperity and greatness and liberty. This city will turn into a forbidden place of darkness. The blood, sweat, and tears that the city of New York was built on will turn into a virtual refugee shelter for the radical Muslim ideology. This is now the most dangerous time for our citizens of New York. This mayor will destroy this city. We are obligated to demand our rights for our private sanctuary, our businesses, our property that we all have worked so hard for. And this 35-year-old mayor has no right dictating the rules of socialism for a city built on our highest principles with brick and stone by hardworking Americans. This must be stopped, and his mayoralty should be terminated immediately. You, the people of the greatest city, New York, are in danger of losing your city to this communist fool. We, the people, must stand for the greatest nation's purpose, the honor of our flag, the red, white, and blue, and for which it stands, one nation under God, and liberty and justice for all. This country, the United States of America, is the land of our greatest achievement, the American dream. And we, the people, have put our trust in the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. He and only he.
Okay, that was only about a minute. Okay, I got my other short ones. Dang it.
Faster than they drop the border wall. Instead, we just get recycled lies, lazy journalism, and Jen Psaki trying to lawyer her way out of her own soundbite. Now, speaking of lawyers and legal chaos, did you catch this? Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff was arrested yesterday by the FBI. Meet Dana Williamson. She's now facing a federal grand jury with a laundry list of charges that reads kind of like a law school final exam. Conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud, bank fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States, obstructing justice, filing false tax returns, and making false statements. That's a whopping 23 charges for the 53-year-old who didn't have much to say when leaving the courthouse yesterday. Take a look.
Should other California officials and people involved in the government be concerned now with this investigation underway?
Do you have any comment, Ms. Williamson?
Excuse us. No, you guys can contact my attorney.
Some of these alleged crimes actually line up with her time as Newsom's right-hand woman. She and 4 others are now accused of siphoning political funds from Joe Biden's HHS Secretary, Javier Becerra, who is now running for governor of California. Neither Newsom nor Becerra are implicated, or at least as of yet. But Ms. Williamson, she's free on $500,000 bond after pleading not guilty. Let's see if Williamson wants to strike a deal and starts to sing like a canary. Not sure what she would tell us, but I'm all ears. If convicted, she's looking at 20 plus years behind bars. That's one of the biggest political corruption scandals to hit Sacramento in years. And let me tell you, it's just.
Well, that was a short one.
About it, and it's absolutely infuriating. I don't know if you guys remember this guy, but he's an absolute creep of a dude. But his name is Jamie Raskin. He's a U.S. representative out of the great state of Maryland. Well, Jamie Raskin has absolutely no original ideas, no real vision. The only thing that has kept him in office is his profound hatred of Trump, his acute TDS syndrome, you might call it, stage 4. The problem is that he has done everything he can to try to derail Trump at every turn. But he won't just come out and be a man about it and stand toe to toe with Trump. No, he tries to play the whole slithering snake bit. So he's the one who's been coming out with these little bits of information about Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell, and trying to make Trump out to be something that he's not, a friend of Ghislaine or a friend of Epstein, to embarrass Donald Trump. The problem is they couldn't quite figure out where this information was being leaked from. He said that it was coming from a whistleblower, and so therefore they were protected as a whistleblower source. But the problem was the information for someone like Ghislaine Maxwell, who's been in prison for many years now, she's only able to communicate with a very small group of people. And most of the information that he was bringing up was information that was between her and her attorney, which is protected by attorney-client privilege. Well, it turns out that there was a network of, I don't know if you call them spies or if that makes it a little bit too cool sounding, but Jamie Raskin, it looks as though he was in cahoots with some prison guards who were taking the emails, sending them on to Jamie Raskin, and then Jamie Raskin was pretending to be a whistleblower and sharing that information with several mainstream media outlets. Interestingly enough, the only way that they were finally able to catch him was by leaking some false information once they had caught the prison guards, leaking false information. So if you guys remember hearing a story a while back about Trump being on the brink or within days of freeing Ghislaine Maxwell or pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, that was the story. So they put the false information out there, poured a little bit of dye down the drain to see where the leak came up. And of course, the leak came up, right out of Jamie Raskin's mouth. So now he's trying to say, well, I had nothing to do with this. I didn't know that who the information was coming from. We were just doing our job and making sure the information got out there, which is all a bunch of baloney. But I really and truly believe that Jamie Raskin needs to go to prison. In this country, we have laws, and those laws are there to protect folks that are both innocent and or guilty. And at the end of the day, there's a reason why we have attorney-client privilege. He's going to mess around and ensure that Ghislaine Maxwell is freed forever because her constitutional rights have been broken. Let me know what you guys think about this. Comment below. I'll see you guys next time. And you guys.
Okay, I found this. I think he had 2 of them. Okay, I think. I just found his second one.
Unfortunately, there's a gigantic divorce going on between the Obamas and the Bidens, and they are going to have to figure out custody, I guess, of Kamala Harris. I don't know who's going to have to take her, but one of them will have to. But ABC just cannot believe that it's gotten as nasty. That's what it is. They are reporting this now. And I just don't know. Do these people not pay attention? I mean, if any of you guys know any of the executives over there at ABC or maybe at CNN or MSNBC, send them these videos, because apparently they're not watching people like, over here Out of the Darkness, Truthville USA. They're not watching Doug TeNapel over there, Doug in Exile, because if they were, they would know ahead of time that this relationship was built on sand. Because just like all Democrats, and all, especially Black Democrats, they only show up every 4 years when they need something. When they need you and they're benefiting from you, they are 100% there. As soon as they get what they want from you, then they desert you. They've been doing this in the Black community for years. Any marginalized group, they will split people up, get them to feel like victims, make them feel as though they're owed something. They will tell you they're going to give you what you're owed, and then they bail. This is what Obama did to Biden. Obama helped Biden get into office, okay? Obama essentially ran that entire show for 4 years, because we know that certainly Biden wasn't able to run it. And then Obama expected that he was going to be the one to pick the next president. This is all documented, by the way. And unfortunately for him, Biden had an original idea. I think, to be honest with you, I don't think it was Biden. I think it was more Jill and Hunter. And I thought it was brilliant. They said, you're going to force us out? Fair enough. You're going to force us out. So what we're going to do is we are going to ensure that you're not going to get the person you want in office. And so that's why Biden came out just a couple of minutes later, after he sent in the letter that he didn't sign, and said he was nominating Kamala Harris. At that point, the Bidens and the Obamas, they were both cooked. The Obamas were cooked because what are they going to do? Are they supposed to turn their back on the first Black female presidential nominee? They couldn't do that. Now, I understand Kamala Harris was not Black until she needed to be Black. She was Indian all along. But let's just, for sake of argument here, this is what happened. And so now people can't figure out, why aren't they getting along? They were always such good friends. No, they weren't. They were Democrats. And that's what Democrats do. They use you until they don't need you anymore. Then they discard you. So, of course, the relationship is over. Obama can't get anything from Biden anymore. So why keep him around? Throw him out like yesterday's trash. Let me know what you guys think about this. Comment below. Make sure you guys.
Okay, I got that one here. Let's see what I got up next here. Oh, this guy, I'm not sure who this one is, but it's news. 7 minutes.
Sign up today. So tasty, it could make Poseidon switch to a spoon. Wholly divine taste from the Greek gods.
Zohran Mamdani is insane. He's doing insane things in New York. And while everybody's been focused on him in New York, Seattle's been going through the exact same thing. And they have their Zohran Mamdani, and her name is Katie Wilson. Just in the past few weeks, she has said increasingly crazier things, and we're going to expose all of them right now. I want to start with this. She was at a rally talking about affordable food in Seattle, and she made the claim that not only should Seattle get on board with the government grocery stores that Zohran Mamdani wants to do in New York, but she also says that private grocery stores should be forced to stay open even if they just go out of business. Take a look.
Access to affordable, healthy food is a basic right.
We
cannot allow giant grocery chains to stomp all over our communities, close stores at will, and leave behind food deserts. Together, we can build a Seattle where fresh food is for everyone, not just for those who can afford it. Food deserts are not natural. Corporations create them when they abandon our communities. As mayor, I'm excited to step up and with UFCW explore public option grocery stores to fill those gaps.
So according to Socialist Now, and she is a self-proclaimed socialist, not only are you evil if you start a business and have a profit, of course, that's horrible, but also you're evil if you go out of business and shut down. And I guess her solution, she never says what her solution is, how she's going to do it, but I guess she's saying that maybe Seattle is going to subsidize grocery stores that are failing. I don't know how that's going to work. She does say that food deserts are unnatural as well, which I hate to break it to her, but I think grocery stores are maybe a little bit more unnatural than food deserts. I think food deserts are the status quo everywhere in the world before grocery stores existed. But Katie Wilson, full-on socialist. Just this week, she gave one of the scariest interviews I've heard from almost anyone. I mean, she is outright. You think Zohran Mamdani is outright with the scary stuff he believes? Katie Wilson is on that same level. She says in this video I'm going to show you that the government is what we should trust. It is our friend. It is our savior. Here it is.
As a progressive and as a socialist, I believe in good governance. Our government is how we act collectively, how we accomplish the things that can only be done together. I believe that our city should be able to tackle big challenges and take on big, ambitious projects. And I believe it is a very bad thing when people begin to lose faith in the ability of their government to be responsive and effective and to deliver results for its constituents. I look forward to working alongside all of the dedicated public servants who work for the city of Seattle, not just to advance a transformative policy agenda, but to make sure that we are delivering basic services, communicating with constituents, working collaboratively with every single neighborhood around the city, and building that faith and trust in government that is so essential.
Quotes from her: our government is how we act collectively, the way we do things together. It's a bad thing when we lose faith in government, building faith and trust in government. That is what she says. That is what she wants. This is the new socialist order. On its face, you hear some of those things, you're like, yeah, well, it's good that we trust the government to a certain extent, but just listen to what it really means here. Our government is how we act collectively. That's what she believes. Not church.
Johnson.
That's not how we act collectively. Not charity, not families, government. We elect people and they just do it all. The elites, they handle it. And this philosophy is very self-evident for the socialists. You know, some people might say, oh, well, that's a straw man, Josh. They obviously believe that families are important. Do they? Do they really? Do socialists have families? Do they believe in having kids and getting married? Do they go to church? Do they give to charity? They don't. People who believe in the government do not give to charity. The data is self-evident. Christians, Muslims even, and I'm not a massive fan of Islam, Buddhists, they give to charity way more than secular Democrat socialists. They believe fundamentally, this is part of their philosophy, that virtue is to be done not by the people or communities, but by the government. That's why they believe in redistributionism. That's why when you bring up, oh, hey, why don't we just be nice to each other? Why don't we talk about private welfare? They go, no. We have to tax you. And you're evil if you don't believe this, by the way. We're going to tax you. Then we're going to take that money. Then we're going to distribute it to the poor. As if, and then they'll gaslight you and say, well, you're a Christian. Shouldn't you be giving money to the poor? It's like, I should be giving money to the poor. I shouldn't be forced to pay the government who does an awful job of giving money to the poor. What Christian believes that? At what point in the Bible did they say, hey, make sure to give a ton of your money to the government so they can do all the charity for you? That's what she's saying in this. She believes that we don't have a problem with trusting each other or loving one another. We need to trust and love the government. That's what's important. Economically, she's already turning out to be a disaster for Seattle. By the way, here is Wilson on the streets trying to boycott and push out Starbucks, one of their largest companies from, again, the city that it was founded in.
That is why I am proud to join them on their picket line and proud to say loud and clear, I am not buying Starbucks and you should not either. And I would like to close with a message to Starbucks. This is your hometown and mine. Seattle's making some changes right now. And I urge you to do the right thing. Because in Seattle, when workers' rights are under attack, what do we do? When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do? When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do? Because this is your city. Thank you very much.
The leader of Seattle hates her own city. I don't even drink coffee. I don't really care about Starbucks at all, but they hate Starbucks, which, by the way, employs over 5,000 people, not in the coffee shops, just in the Starbucks HQ there alone. But for some reason, she would rather have Starbucks go to Austin, bring all those jobs with her so that her city suffers and has no employers anymore. Hey guys, I wanted to invite you to subscribe to my newsletter. I run it through Substack. It's completely free to you. Comes right in.
Oh yeah, I gotta remember that one. Joshua something. When I get my settings back. So I got a 10-minute one on Benny, and then A few other short ones will play. You saying hi to Ariella? Huh?
Dear friend of our show had a horrifying scare when a psychotic lunatic broke into her office with a baseball bat looking to kill her, ended up ransacking her office, destroying a bunch of stuff, and getting away. It's just the way it goes in this godforsaken part of the earth, but nonetheless, justice pursueth, and they were able to get this guy quickly. We were very concerned for our friend Alina. Alina released a video saying as much, and saying that she had somebody willing to attack her with a baseball bat. Anyway, an announcement just today that the DOJ and the FBI have arrested a man that was trying to kill Alina Habba. Here we go.
You may not hear in the news all the threats that every individual in this administration gets, but there are many, and there are too many. It is a frightening time in our country, and I wish the rhetoric would just calm down.
The suspect in the attack on the office belonging to the acting U.S. Attorney in New Jersey, Alina Habba, has been taken into custody. Attorney General Pam Bondi announcing that arrest earlier this morning, identifying the bat-wielding suspect as Keith Michael Lisa. For more, we are joined by former Assistant U.S. Attorney General John Yoo and Washington Times Editor-at-Large and Attorney Alex Woyer. Great to have you both. Professor Yoo, I hear stories like this. It's frightening. It's disturbing. Your reaction to the fact that there has been an arrest made, at least that seems to be some promising news.
I think it's great that the FBI tracked this guy down, and the Justice Department should throw the book at him, because there needs to be a message sent that is unacceptable to attack federal agents, federal law enforcement, courts, and prosecutors. But the bigger problem is that this, unfortunately, is a trend, I think, caused by the far left's extreme rhetoric. We have been living in a period of heightened.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think John is extremely spot to get even worse. And 24%.
U.S. Marshals. I could go on and on, but it was a frightening thing. Honestly, Kaylee, you and I are in the public eye. We've had friends that have been unfortunately assassinated. We've seen attempted assassinations, and you never really think it would come that close to home. And this individual obviously got very close to where I sit for work every single day. So it was, he got into the building. It was frightening.
It's astounding to me. I mean, all you're doing is trying to serve your country. You're doing it honorably. Benny Johnson said there was a second threat against him. Pam Bondi, is on that as well. Frank Turek at a university, and they're harassing him. It's a trend.
It is a trend. I've had numerous people, some come to my home. I've had threats online. We saw the 8647. They started the 86 Habba. Somebody got indicted. You may not hear in the news all the threats that every individual in this administration gets, but there are many, and there are too many. One is too many. And all we are doing is serving our country. All we are doing is fighting. And the Department of Justice is going to continue to fight for justice. It won't deter us, but we are human beings. I have children that read what happens. We have families. It is a frightening time in our country, and I wish the rhetoric would just calm down, because nobody who serves, who's in the blue, who's any agents that are out there, and that's why I'm so behind them, deserves that kind of treatment, or to be afraid to go to work and do your job for the American people like the president does.
Alina, how has your faith helped you through this? I know you're very vocal about that, and I've got to believe you're relying on it now.
Yeah, I think for the last 2 days, I've had so many calls, and thank you to everybody that reached out. And I can say that, while he was obviously not apprehended, I was very scared. But I have always said, Kaylee, the opposite of fear is faith. and you believe that God protects those and has a plan for us, even when there's dark moments in our country, I believe those are in God's hands and that's God's plan. And if I didn't have my faith, I would have pretty much nothing. So I can tell you that's your core value system. And I wish that this individual had more faith and more of a moral compass.
Great cocktail. Perfect. Oh, let's go mingle.
Yeah, for sure. And just final question on the way out. You did such great work in New Jersey. There were those 2 individuals with the ISIS plot out of Michigan. You got them in New Jersey.
Yeah. Yes, I was very proud of that. We coordinated with our Michigan team and some of the other U.S. attorneys, Washington as well. And I just have to say, this Department of Justice under Attorney General Pam Bondi, who, by the way, has been so supportive of me the last 2 days, we have been taking down serious crime. And I see the criticism. I see how they attack. We are going to keep America safe. That is our priority. And we did so when we took down those individuals.
Now, you guys, think about this one. I just found it. So I'm going to end it with this one. Shoot. I gotta find it now. Oh, shoot. Why is it not going on here? Darn it. Chico drinking water. Hang on, I gotta reset everything here. Okay.
They say you murdered 3. Strange
I gotta turn the volume.
happen here, no stranger would it be. You're mad at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree? The dead man call out for his love to flee. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would.
Oh. What do you guys think of this one? You seen this one yet? We'll play something else. I'll get another one out here. I think I got one more Benny. One more Benny one I'll play.
What's up, guys? Benny. The worst kind of deception is self-deception. The kind of people who wake up in the morning and hate the person looking back in the mirror at them. They can't stand who God made them, and so they try and become something else. It's something that corrodes your soul, and you should never trust those kind of people. They are the absolute worst. And with that brings me nicely to Jasmine Crockett, who engages in this manner of self-deception every single day by playing a hood rat from the mean streets of Dallas. But she's anything but. She was raised as a privileged elite in the leafy suburbs of St. Louis, very, very rich parts of town. She went to a private day school, one of the most elite in the entire country. After graduating there and learning how to play the flute, Jasmine Crockett went and enrolled in a private university outside of Memphis in the rolling hills, then went on to law school at Houston, racking up millions of dollars in her elite education, all to sound like this.
Because these people, they are crazy because they always talk about how Christian they is. Yeah, I don't know how many of them on that side are getting divorced because they getting caught up sleeping with their co-workers, staffers, interns, all the things. Yeah, you ain't got to believe me. Just go Google. You'll find some of it. I'm telling you. And the wives is being messy and petty. They putting it in the divorce. I'm like, ooh, that's got to be true because your lawyer would know that they going to lose it if they.
It didn't used to be like this. You know, there's plenty of available evidence of who Jasmine Crockett
Good to see you in
really
the new
is.
year. You know, no one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now it looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress.
Maybe because these people, they are crazy because they always talk about how Christian they is.
Ooh, don't trust people like this. Right? There's something much deeper happening here. It's pathological. It's sociopathic. It's psychotic. And really, it is just rooted in self-loathing, ultimately. They hate who God made them. They can't stand it. And so they try and change it. And there's a lot of evil that comes from that mentality. The number one thing you shouldn't do with people like this is trust them. And that brings us along nicely to Jasmine Crockett getting brutally roasted on CNN, of all places. Jasmine Crockett never met a TV camera she didn't like. She loves going on national TV. It seems to be the whole purpose of her being. And this has made her quite famous in Democratic circles. Some people even saying that she should run for president because of her ubiquity on cable news. Jasmine Crockett, however, got a brutal fact check by CNN, to their great credit, actually, just going and fact checking in the most basic way. The House Democrat oversights selective release of emails from Jeffrey Epstein. And these emails include President Trump's name. Oh, that sounds naughty. What do they include? President Trump's name, saying that he spent hours with a victim. Oh, my goodness. Hours with a victim? Let's just forget the fact that Jeffrey Epstein straight up says that President Trump is a FBI informant and is trying to bring down my pedophile network, but let's gloss over that. Trump spent time with an Epstein victim, and we blotted out her name because he's such a monster, and we don't want to do any damage to Trump. Well, there we go. This is House Democrats voting to release the files, saying that it will destroy Donald Trump. The thing is that the files they're selectively releasing to destroy Donald Trump actually exonerate Donald Trump, because the victim that President Trump was spending all the time with is actually Virginia Roberts, who is the Epstein victim, that indeed she is, but she's the one who exonerates Donald Trump, not only in sworn depositions and testimony, but in her own book. She exonerates President Trump in multiple interviews. She exonerates Donald Trump before the court in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Ghislaine Maxwell, the same one that was inexplicably invited to Bill Clinton's only daughter's wedding. Peeking her head out there. Yep. Wonder what that was. And so Jasmine Crockett, running like a moth to the flame to get on TV to talk about this, not knowing anything about it, decided to get wrecked and fact-checked by CNN over this important fact. Brutal. Jasmine Crockett gets called out by CNN Live for their fake Epstein narrative. Here we go.
My favorite part in working in music and live events is from April 2nd, 2011, Republicans were saying that victim is Virginia Giuffre. As you know, she died by suicide. She's been very outspoken victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Here's the email right here on your screen. She wrote a book, as you know, and she did not accuse him of any wrongdoing. What do you make of that? And can you confirm that?
Yeah, I don't know obviously it's redacted who the victim is. So I won't necessarily take the Republicans' word on who it is that's redacted. And I don't know why they would necessarily redact someone's name who is deceased at this point.
The Democrats did that, though. The Democrats redacted.
No. I understand.
Okay,
but I'm just saying, like, our biggest concern is to actually make sure that we are protecting victims. And obviously, she wrote a book. She told her truth.
She wrote a book. She told her truth. I finna redact. What's going on here? Why would the Republicans redact the name? Democrats redacted the name. Yeah, but she told her truth. But but the truth she told was that there's no problem with Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, and you're saying that there's you're saying that there's all these crimes that they're covering up with Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. What's the deal here? I don't know. Jasmine Crockett, man. This is not going well for her. Not a single thing in these new Epstein emails implicate Trump. Nothing even accuses him of wrongdoing. Stop dragging it out. Release every Epstein file already. Dumb B. Crockett says, I don't know why they redact someone's name who's deceased. The Democrats did it. She's dead. She was suicided. That's what I believe, anyway. She forgot to use her fake ghetto accent. So the Epstein bombshell from Democrats turned out to be a complete and total hoax. Shock. Reminder, this is why you can't just release random files out of context. This is disgusting spin. Dumb as a bag of nails.
Hey, Dave, you were lurking, weren't you?
Okay. This is just pathetic. Yeah. The leader of the Democrat Party. Please let it happen. We're begging for it. We've often said that what would happen here is that there would actually be a boomerang effect.
Michigan
that is exactly what's happening. Donald Trump is
Barely.
now calling for the full and complete
Alabama
investigation
was lost.
of Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. They pushed a little too hard. President Trump will be in charge of the Justice Department for, let me check here, another 3.5 years. That's a long time to investigate Democrats, including some major Democrat funders and billionaires here. This is not good for Democrats who were clearly compromised by Jeffrey Epstein. What do you hear? Clinton White House visits by Jeffrey Epstein, 17. Flights on the Lolita Express by Bill Clinton, 27. President Trump, 0 and 0. It's not going to end out. It's not going to work out the way that they think. Humiliating moment. Jasmine Crockett is schooled by CNN, of all places, after Epstein smear. It is totally a smear. Grotesque. But we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently the House is going to vote.
Watch, that
We're going to get all the Epstein files, so lock and load. It's going to be a wild week.
I hope
It's your Betty
they
Lecture and subscribe. See ya.
Yep, so you and Cake and Georgia and Texas. I gave her the link to the game. So all the people that came in tonight, we got some old names, new names, I think. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Christian. And then the other one was other Ross and Mess Hurry. Yep. Old names. Let everybody coming back little by little. So, okay, thanks. And yep. So God bless you, everybody. Love all. But please hit the like and make sure you're sub to the backup channels. Yep, you too, Mike. Thanks for stopping in. I'll be on tomorrow at 6 probably. I'm back on 5 on Monday. So stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith, and never give up. We'll see you all. Signing off, Chico Dude. Well, guys, we'll see you all tomorrow. Oh, someone just came in. Hold on. See the name there. Sharina. Thank you. Yep. A lot of hard work for 5 years, working on 6 years now, but we thanks, Dave. Got over the 1 million views. I cut track of all my channels and everything. We gone through a lot of channels, but we're way over 1 million, I think. So all the support and everything, and I got a Cash App, and I'm not going to use the paper copy no more. But if I don't get a strike before I get my hours in, Michelle will help me put up the super chat. I never done that before. So hopefully I'll be able to get that. Hey, Chico, they're saying good night to you. He's in the window. All right, good to see all the old names back. And tomorrow night we'll be at 6, and then Monday at 5, unless something develops. And we'll see you all tomorrow, unless something breaks.